their aim is to work in a very amazing job career as a CS or IT professional, programming language is a must. And AngularJS comes under the umbrella. And to your surprise, this JS stands for JavaScript, makes C++ a very useful language for game development, low latency, performance, high performance systems. Hey, so hello everyone. I welcome you all to your favorite channel. So today we are going to talk about a very in-demand topic, which is what programming language one should study in order to be future secured. Okay, so I'm going to tell you each of the coding and the programming languages that I believe is going to help you moving forward in achieving a great career ahead. Okay, so my name is Aditya Jain and I welcome you all to this amazing session where we are going to talk about very insightful points which will help you grow in your career. So let's get started. So first, why programming matters? Okay, why do we need to learn programming languages, right? Because we are engineers, right? Even before learning something, we need to be aware about what are the use cases in which whatever we are learning is going to help us. So here I have written few points that will help you understand the importance of learning a programming language. First is, it is a core skill for CS and IT careers. Like hardly you will meet any CS or IT person who is working at a great company, at a great job role, who is not good at programming. Hardly there will be anyone such roles. Okay, so every person, if their aim is to work in a very amazing job career as a CS or IT professional, programming language is a must. Okay, now the question comes, what programming language? Okay, so every programming language has a certain purpose and I'm going to talk about it moving forward. Okay, it is the foundation for emerging tech. So imagine that you have to build something. Okay, for that you have to communicate with the machine. And what is programming language? It is the language that a computer speaks and understands. Okay, so in order for you to interact with the machine and to get the best out of it, you have to write code, because that code will be understood by the machine. So programming language you can consider is a communication between machine and a human. So programmer writes a programming language that is understood by the machine. Machine gives you the output that is usable to the programmer. And this is how the communication works. So this makes programming language a very essential skill if anyone needs to build anything in their career or in order to work at a great MNC. Okay, it enhances your logical thinking, because as I said, you might be aware of something, but letting the program know, letting the machine understand what you're trying to convey is a task in itself. And this is why programming is done by highly logic efficient people. Okay, because it requires a lot of logical skills, logical thinking, logical ability for you to interact with the machine and to convey it whatever you are trying to process. Okay, and finally, as you all know, it drives innovation. Okay, so the world is moving so fast. Okay, it is faster than ever. Every day new technology is emerging, and it is very, very important for us to stay updated and to be skilled enough to contribute to this innovation, to be a part of it. So with this motivation, let's get started with the various programming languages that will help you have a great career ahead. Okay, so first I would like to start with my favorite programming language, which is Python, like the saap, okay, like the snake. Okay, so Python is a programming language that is very famous for its versatility. That means it is very useful in AI, web development and data science. Okay, it is almost the most dominating language when it comes to the field of artificial intelligence, machine learning, data science and deep learning. So all this comes under the umbrella of AI and ML, which is artificial intelligence and machine learning, or I can put that into data science. So I would say, if at all you want to build a career in data science, Python is a must. You can't afford to miss on this language. So please build your skills. There are lots of amazing resources available. There are lots of knowledge available over the internet. Please upskill yourself on this language and be ready to crack the data science code. Okay, it has popular frameworks like Django and Flask. Okay, Django can be used for cross-platform development purpose. Okay, so that you can have a very efficient web application, website, and mobile application. So like cross-platform application development. It has very easy syntax. I would say it is the easiest syntax among all the programming languages. It will seem like as if you are writing a English language when you will write Python code. Okay, so this is one of the languages that I mention people to start their coding journey with, and that's why I put it at the very beginning, because this is the easiest language when it comes to the syntax part of it. Okay, it is suitable for beginners. As I mentioned, if you're just getting started with your programming journey, Python is your friend. Okay, and there are lots and lots of very useful libraries. It has pandas, numpy, scikit-learn. NumPy pandas, the bread and butter for data analytics. Okay, it is one of my favorite programming library, I would say. Okay, and scikit-learn, which works as the baseline for any machine learning and data science related development. So these Python, along with its very efficient and very useful libraries, make it a must for someone who is planning to build their career in data science. So this is a tick from my end that please do enroll, and please do yourself a favor to learn this programming language, and your future self will really be very thankful to you. Okay, with that, moving on to the next programming language, which is JavaScript. Okay, again, a very famous language, and many of you might be already aware. Many of you might already be writing code in JavaScript. Okay, so it is one of the most famous languages when it comes to the web development part of it. Okay, so you might have heard of HTML, CSS, right? So I would say HTML and CSS works as the front end part, like how it's gonna look. Okay, the visual part of it, the visual part of a website. Okay, but what goes underneath the hood with the logical part, it is one of your favorites, JavaScripts. Okay, so you will write the logical part, like what would happen if a button is clicked. So all those logic will go underneath the hood of JavaScript. It has lots and lots of famous frameworks. JavaScript is famous, but its framework are nonetheless, they are very famous. You might already be aware of many. So Node.js and AngularJS comes under the umbrella, and to your surprise, this JS stands for JavaScript. Okay, so JavaScript, along with these frameworks supported by it, which is Angular and Node, okay, Angular and React.js, and there is Node.js as well. Okay, so backend role is for Node.js, and was just segregating both. Okay, so Node.js is also there. Again, wherever you can see JS, it's for JavaScript, and it is used for cross-platform apps. Okay, it also provides you with electron.js. As you can see, lots of heavy utility, cross-platform development, lots of applications of learning JavaScript. It's not a surprise that this should be a part of your coding career. Okay, so please do upskill yourself if you want to proceed ahead in the career with these opportunities. Moving ahead to the one of the most famous languages ever is Java. Okay, so don't confuse JavaScript with Java. Okay, Java is a separate language, and it is very famous. Okay, I personally myself learned Java with keeping in mind the OOP principles, which is object-oriented programming. What is object-oriented programming? It is one of the paradigms. It is one of the programming paradigms. Okay, where you actually write code. Okay, where you actually write code in a systematic manner using some framework called class and objects, using which you program the machine. Okay, and it is one of the most widely used programming paradigm. There are lots of programming paradigms. Functional, okay, in Python we have functional programming like the lambda function, okay, like map, filter, reduce, all those things. Okay, and OOP, object-oriented programming, is one of the most famous one. Then we have it for enterprise applications. Okay, it is very useful for applications development, the applications that you use at your day-to-day work at companies. Okay, underneath the hood, Java is helping it build. I have myself built lots of such applications in my BTech, okay, and it used to be really amazing to use this language. I was really happy that I learned this, and I would strongly recommend you to learn Java, okay. It is used for Android development. Now, although the Android world is, I would say, fast as never before, okay, it is getting developed with Kotlin, okay, Swift, you have lots of languages there, but I personally have done my Android development with Java, okay. So Android development means you can build literally the apps from scratch, which you can publish over the Play Store, okay. So this is your go-to language of choice. And finally, we have security features offered by it, which makes it very, very usable for enterprise development, because as you know, enterprise applications care a lot about its security, because you are working with applications which are very, very official in nature, okay. So you need to take care of the security part as well, and that's why this becomes your go-to choice. Okay, so with these jam-packed applications of Java, it also becomes one of the programming languages to not miss. So I would strongly recommend you to learn Java if you want to build your career in the Android development side, or if you want to go into the enterprise applications development side, where you can build tools which will be used within the companies and the organizations. Moving ahead to one of the most high-performing language. Like now you might be thinking, sir, that you are telling that every language is amazing, right? So yeah, that's true, guys, okay. Every language has its own purpose, and every language makes it very, very important, makes itself very important in the industry for solving that application process, okay. So next is C++. I myself have coded a lot. I have done a lot of programming in C++. To be honest, C++ is my go-to language whenever I'm writing code for competitive programming competitions, okay. Whenever I used to participate in competitive programming like Lead Code or your Code Chef, I used to prefer this language as a choice, okay. It provides you with a great STL libraries, which I'll talk about, okay. So it is high performance computing. It's very, very useful when you are working with high computational activity requirement, okay. One of the most widely used application is in gaming and in trading, like, you know, the buy and sell transactions, right? The investment, the hedge funds, the trading part of it. C++ is a go-to language because it has very low latency. Low latency means it's very fast to be implemented, executed, and that makes it a go-to language wherever you are working with very high performance utility, okay. It is, as I mentioned, very useful for game development. You know, when you are a gamer, you can't afford to have any kind of lag in the system. You want everything as quick as possible. So that's why it is very, very useful for game development. OS and systems programming. So the operating system that the computer is using, okay, like Windows, okay, it is very, very efficient when it is programming using C++, because C++ is a low level language. What do I mean by low level language? It is very easily understood by a machine. It is very close to machine, C++, okay. So both the languages are having these abilities, and my favorite, STL, which is standard template library. So C++ provides you with STL, which is pre-written libraries that you can directly use, okay, so that you can write code which are very easy to understand, which are abstract in nature, because you are using code that is already pre-written in a library, same as NumPy pandas that you use in Python, okay, similar to that, like not exactly the same. So this is what makes C++ a very useful language for game development, low latency performance, high performance systems, okay. Moving on to the next language, Go or Golang, okay. It is, I would say, comparatively less popular as compared to your C++, Java or Python, but definitely not that back. It is not that behind when it comes to the utility, okay. So it is famous for its simplicity in concurrent programming. Okay, so when you are having lots of concurrent systems, concurrent programming requirements, it is a go-to language. It is very efficient for backend development. Okay, what is backend? So when you are having a website, all the visual part of it is called front end, like what you see, and the logic that is running behind it is considered as its backend. Backend means it is not visible to the user, like what happens when you click a button, what programming language runs. It is not actually visible to the user, right? So that is what I mean by backend. So all the logical activity, all the load management, all the logical decisions, all the memory management, everything is part of the backend. Okay, strong community support. Okay, so it comes with lots of community development for you. Okay, so you will have access to lots of similar frameworks that will be very easy to integrate when you're using Golang, and it is very famous for cloud applications. Cloud, like the rainy season one, right? No, I'm just joking. Cloud means where your data is getting stored, like you might be aware of Google Cloud platforms, Amazon Web Services, AWS, right? So this was what I wanted to highlight about Go or Golang. Moving on to the next programming language, again, not that popular, but to be honest, one of the most utility languages for the future. So if you are looking for something which is not yet so popular, but is going to be very popular moving forward, Rust could be of your choice. Okay, so it is providing you memory safety. Okay, it's very famous for this. It is performance oriented. As I said, when you are working in the data science domain, where there is a lot of data and you want to do things quicker, you have to have high performance requirements. Rust is your choice. System development applications. Okay, system level applications. So that means when you are building systems, okay, which are very closer to the machine than human, okay, like towards the backend side of it. Okay, so it is the language of your choice, and it is developer friendly ecosystem, similar to Python. Okay, Python is also considered to be developer friendly because it is very easily understood by the human being, okay, by the programmer. That's why they are called developer friendly. Okay, because developers understand them very easily. They are easy to interpret, easy to read, easy to understand. That's what makes it a high utility. Not that popular as of now, but is going to be very popular moving forward. It is popular, but comparatively less as compared to C++, Java, and Python. Moving ahead, if you remember, I have already talked about this language, okay, Kotlin. Okay, if you remember, I have taken this name earlier. So it is Android's preferred language. I have lots of friends who are working with this language as their day-to-day work, and they have got lots of job opportunities because they are good at Kotlin. I would say Kotlin is relatively newer to the ecosystem of programming languages as compared to other C++ and those languages. Okay, it is very famous for Android development. So whenever you are trying to build an app, okay, and you have to publish it on the Play Store, Kotlin is your language of choice. Okay, and it is very famous for Android development specifically. For iOS, we have another language. One of the languages are Swift. Again, Flutter is also a very popular language, but again, keeping that aside for now. Okay, it has a very concise syntax, easy to read, easy to interpret, and very less lines of code. That makes it user friendly. Okay, it has Java interpretability, right? So as I said, that it is for Android development, and the base kind of comes from Java programming language itself. So it has very easy to understand once you know Java programming language, and it is also good for backend applications. Okay, so guys, let me tell you, when you are starting your programming journey, there will be lots of times that you will try to move only towards the front end part, okay, like the visual part, because that is something that you can understand, that is something that you can see, right? But let me tell you, there are lots of opportunities specifically in the backend application side. There is very huge requirement in the backend side, okay, because very few people are interested in writing the backend code. Almost everyone nowadays likes to write the front end part, right? The visual part, how it's gonna look, how the page gonna be looking, how the colors of the buttons would be, okay? But backend is something that only the logical brains are able to crack. So do focus on this part and you will have lots of opportunities finding your way, okay? Moving on to the next. This is one of those languages which you just can't ignore if you want to build career in data science. Be data science, data analytics, data engineering, machine learning engineering, machine learning scientist, machine development, machine learning developer, anything, this is a must. Why? Because it is used for database management. It stands for structured query language. As the name suggests, it's used to query data from a data storage to the programmer, okay? So this is a go-to language whenever you want to fetch data from a data that is stored somewhere, okay? So it is used for managing the database where the data is being stored. It is relationally data. It is for relational data handling. Relational means structured data. Structured data means data that is stored in the form of tables, which are having rows and columns, okay? So structured data, it has good integration with other tools, as I mentioned earlier, and it is high demand in data roles. I told you this, right? I told you, if you want to build career in any data related field, SQL is a must. Like Python for data science, SQL is also a must, okay? So please grab your seats, okay? Try to explore any resource that is available that is useful to you and make sure that you are industry ready with SQL, okay? Moving on. So this was all I wanted to tell about the programming languages. Again, there are lots and lots of programming language, okay? There is Flutter, okay? There is Django. Django is a framework, although, okay? So there are lots of programming languages, but these were the few that I personally believe is going to help you move your career in the right direction. There is also a programming language called R, which is used for statistical part, okay? So again, do explore, but I would suggest that have a knowledge of C++, Python, SQL and JavaScript. These four for sure. This is my personal advice to you. These four programming languages should be your choice, first choice, okay? So why we need to choose the right language? Because as I said, every language has certain application. Every language is built for some purpose, right? So career goals match with domain needs. So match your language with the domain that you want to work in. It has a good learning curve. Start with beginner friendly options. As I said, start with languages like Python, which are very beginner friendly. That will not make you very tired. That will not make you very frustrated with the syntax part of it, okay? And look at the industry trends. Stay updated on the tech demands, like what are the demands of the need, what are in demand as of now. What we have brought to you is definitely in demand. And community and resources, seek active forums. As I've already told you, there is lots of amazing material available. Please learn and get yourself upskill, okay? So here are few resources that I would like to highlight, okay? Again, there are lots and lots of resources, but these are just few that I would like to mention. So you have Coursera, you have lots of platforms available on the YouTube as well. You have books like Automate the Boring Stuff and etc. Lots and lots of books, whatever you want to study. Coding platforms like LeetCode, HackerRank, CodeChef. These will help you get an idea about how competitive programming world looks like. What are the requirements? How to code, build a logic in a very time efficient manner. and you have lots of community like GitHub, Stack Overflow, your favorite ChatGPT. Okay, so please utilize these skills. Finally, I would like to conclude, my friends, that importance of mastering and versatility in demand languages is very important. So all the languages that I have mentioned already fit into the demand part. We have already filtered out these languages for you. Okay, so please make sure that this is your go-to choice. And with that, my dear friends, I would like to conclude today's session. I hope that I tried to make you aware about what languages to choose and how to have a great career ahead. With this, my name is Aditya Jain and I would like to sign off. Goodbye and all the very best. Thank you.